Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight, the fourth and final night of coverage of SummerSlam 2019, as tonight's episode of SmackDown Live wraps up this year's festivities, and I am so damn glad that it is over. I am exhausted from all this wrestling. I know you guys are exhausted from all this wrestling. I barely wanted to tune in to SmackDown Live tonight following last night's Monday Night Raw, but much to my surprise, there was one match once again on this night that was definitely worth tuning into, and the rest of SmackDown Live didn't really amount to much of anything at all, as the big stories coming out of SmackDown Live are the rise of Buddy Murphy and the deepening of the mystery of who is after Roman Reigns. All that and so much more, as we are here to point out everything wrong with SmackDown Live. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show SmackDown Live review. Let's get this over with. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
You know, the WWE always likes to tout their first time ever bullshit, right? Well, we got a first time ever for you guys. Historic moment on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here and right now. Get ready for this. Breaking news. You might not believe it. Sit down because you may have a stroke. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on SmackDown Live, my favorite match included Roman Reigns. It was my favorite match of the night. I've never once, in the 3-year history of the show, in the 5-year history or 6 years that Roman Reigns has been part of the main roster, not through his WrestleMania appearances, not through any of his Royal Rumble wins, or any of the special things they did to make him look like the number one big dog of the WWE. Never once have I ended the show going, damn, I really enjoyed that Roman Reigns match, or wow, I can't wait to see where they're going with Roman Reigns and this guy, or Roman Reigns and Joe, or Roman Reigns and Brock. It's always been the same old bullshit, and I never enjoyed any of this man's matches until tonight. I cannot even believe it myself, but you have to give props to Roman Reigns. Why are you putting this match over so much? We thought we were coming to see the hammering down because Roman Reigns beat Buddy Murphy, and we know you didn't want that. Of course I didn't want that. Nobody wants that. In fact, leading into SummerSlam, I said the one thing I didn't want to see was Roman Reigns going over on Buddy Murphy, but that's because I expected something completely different. Let me tell you about what we didn't get in this matchup. What we didn't get was a 2-minute long squashing of Buddy Murphy by Roman Reigns, which is what I know you were afraid of. It's what I was afraid of when I heard that these two were going to clash at some point, and I didn't want to see that. Buddy Murphy is too valuable to do something like that to, and he proved that tonight. What we did get, we were treated to a near 15-minute matchup that's seen Roman Reigns struggling to put away Buddy Murphy. It's seen Buddy Murphy elevated by his performance with Roman Reigns tonight. It's seen Buddy Murphy given respect to his abilities and what he can do in the ring. It allowed him to shine, maybe unlike he's ever been able to shine before. All the while, Roman Reigns selling his Samoan ass off better than I've ever seen him. I feel like he sold better for Buddy Murphy than he's ever sold for Brock or Taker or anybody else. There were multiple times during this matchup that you could have truly believed Buddy Murphy was going to come out on top. Buddy Murphy looked fucking great. And that's why you have to love this match. Because even going down in defeat, Buddy Murphy proved that he is a star. And Roman Reigns did everything that he had to do his part to elevate Buddy Murphy to next level status. The guy is fantastic, Buddy Murphy, and you have to give credit to Roman Reigns. This might be, at least in this one not interviewer, in this one reviewer's opinion, Roman Reigns' best match since being part of the WWE. I really believe that. Just in the way he gave back to Buddy Murphy tonight. I don't think either man has ever looked any better than they came out in this matchup. And Roman Reigns won, sure. But that also adds intrigue for maybe something down the line. Maybe Buddy Murphy now has it in his craw that Roman Reigns beat him in his first ever matchup on SmackDown Live, and maybe it's going to be a place for this feud to start. Maybe somewhere down the line, Buddy Murphy ends up one-on-one with Roman Reigns for a championship, and it'll actually mean something because this match was so good you're not going to forget it, and you're going to want to see them go at it again, and that is what professional wrestling is supposed to do. You cannot take it away from the guy, and in a very unusual segment for this show where we usually point out everything wrong with the show, I have to tell you that while I could be mad about it, there's no reason to. Because at the end of the day, after this match, Buddy Murphy looks like the superstar that I've always known he is, that he knows he is, and now you and everybody else in the WWE Universe know that he is as well. A very similar effect to what is going on with Drew McIntyre and Cedric Alexander over on the Red brand. And while you could also maybe call them out for kind of copycatting that match almost to a T, if you want to compare finishes, you know, Roman Reigns hit the spear and absolutely 360'd Buddy Murphy tonight to get the win. And last night we seen a Claymore kick from Drew McIntyre that 360'd the much smaller Cedric Alexander before he scooped up his win. And essentially we've seen the same thing on two nights. But both of the matches that we are talking about are fantastic. And if you're going to copy the best match on the card from the night before and give it to me again, and give it to me in a Roman Reigns versus Buddy Murphy fashion that doesn't make me want to cringe and bash my TV to bits and pieces with my little hammer here, then we got to take it as a win. As far as everything wrong with the show, that comes very quickly with everything else. Now, tonight's SmackDown Live kicked off with Kevin Owens coming out, and he got a hero's welcome from the crowd, rightfully so, because much like myself, many of the people in Toronto, and maybe you, believed that this victory by Shane McMahon, victory over Shane McMahon, God forbid he won the match at SummerSlam. Kevin Owens beats Shane McMahon at SummerSlam. We thought this was going to be the end of it. Kevin Owens also made you believe that by what he said when he made it out to the ring. He said that all of this nonsense with Shane McMahon is behind him, and he is now getting ready to set his focus on winning the King of the Ring. And just like that, at the drop of the hat, Shane McMahon comes out and goes to rain on Kevin Owens' parade with the largest, sweatiest head in the world, dripping buckets of sweat down to ringside. Kevin Owens took out his favorite umbrella and got ready for Shane McMahon hitting the ring so that they could talk, but Shane McMahon never made it down to the ring. They did exchange a very odd verbiage with each other because Shane McMahon says that Elias is not going to be at work tonight. He gave Elias the night off. He is going to fine Kevin Owens $100,000 for putting his hands on Elias at SummerSlam, who was the special enforcer during the matchup between the two. And it makes me laugh because how many times have we seen a referee get laid out? A regular referee gets laid out. We're not made privy to what the fines are. And these are regular nobody referees. And now you're talking about professional wrestlers standing in there as special enforcers. They shouldn't be accruing fines higher than anybody else. This is all just, trying to get Shane McMahon to look like the Vince McMahon type of heel that he wants to be. And nobody really believes any of this shit anyway. This is just bullshit. Nobody wanted to see Shane McMahon come out there. Nobody wants to hear his voice. Everybody wanted to see Kevin Owens move on. And by having this continue, you have started the trend for this episode of things going completely wrong. I could really care less about any of this. Let's talk about how it all ended up, which was Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens in the back they had to continue this after the fact, and Kevin Owens trying to get Shane McMahon to reconsider the whole thing. He's like, I got a family, I got kids, I got a house. $100,000 may be a drop in the bucket for you, but for me, it's a really big deal. Please reconsider. Shane decides not to reconsider at all, and then backstage, he's in the office with Shane McMahon for some reason. He's continuing to try to get Shane to reconsider, and then he throws a chair into a TV, and it was all very forced and very boring, and Shane McMahon was happy about it because he knows he's now inside the head of Kevin Owens, and all I want is for this whole shit to go away and be done with. And it doesn't look like that's the way it's going to go down. The first matchup of the night was a match that I could tear apart for days, not because of the quality of the matchup, which was just so-so, but because of the fact that it was booked to begin with. The WWE booked themselves into a corner by having Charlotte Flair tonight go one-on-one with Ember Moon. Ember Moon is coming off a loss for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship against Bayley at Summerslam, and you would want to think that in her next outing, the WWE would want to make her build herself back up. You'd want to make everybody at least believe for some reason that she has talent and that maybe she was worthy of the WWE Championship match, and maybe it just wasn't her night that night. Now, tonight, she's going to be put up against Charlotte Flair, the top woman in the division. I mean, you could argue that right now, but Sasha Banks still has to do something before she becomes the top woman in the division on SmackDown. I mean, Becky Lynch is the Raw top woman over there. But what good does it do for Charlotte Flair to get a win over Ember Moon after beating Trish Stratus at SummerSlam? Are you going to have Ember Moon beat Charlotte Flair after losing to the champion and then after having Charlotte beat Trish Stratus? No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to want to blemish Charlotte Flair, but why would you not want to boost Ember Moon back up? So this match happening at all is a big thing wrong with tonight's show. It shouldn't have happened. There was so many other things you could have done. What happened to Sarah Logan? What happened to Liv Morgan? What happened to some of the other girls back there? Why not let Charlotte Flair come out and get a win over one of them, since that seems to be your priority? Or why don't you give Ember Moon a win to get her back on the right track immediately following such a big-time loss in such a terrible match? Give her something to redeem herself. But instead we got Charlotte Flair defeating Ember Moon, getting her to tap out to the figure eight, and it's all kinds of wrong. All kinds of wrong. If I had the pencil, that is definitely not what would have happened with these two ladies tonight. And the fact that we got to see Charlotte Flair tonight and the lady that lost at WrestleMania, and not the SmackDown Live Women's Champion who actually won and retained her championship, I'm sorry, not at WrestleMania, at SummerSlam. That's how exhausted I am from all this fucking wrestling. Everything's becoming a jumbled mess, and I'm sure you guys can relate to any of that. But you get the point of what I was trying to say. Why the champion of SmackDown wasn't on the show, and Charlotte Flair was on the show tonight, and the girl that lost at SummerSlam was on the show tonight. Does that make much sense to you guys? Absolutely not. We went backstage to Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan making their way to the ring. They come out to the ramp, and Daniel Bryan wants to tell everybody that they are not the ones responsible for what has happened to Roman Reigns. They had nothing to do with it. He accused Buddy Murphy of being a liar. He also made note of the fact that he doesn't blame Buddy Murphy because anybody would lie if they were placed in the circumstances that Roman Reigns put Buddy Murphy in when he attacked him on last SmackDown Live prior to SummerSlam. And he's right. He's right. When that kind of stuff happens and you give a confession under some sort of duress, that type of stuff is not admissible in court. I watch Law and Order. I ain't stupid. I know the rules. And the guy has a point. So Roman Reigns has the upper hand on Buddy Murphy. Is he telling him the truth, or is he telling Roman Reigns something that he thinks he wants to hear? And Daniel Bryan swore that tonight he was going to prove that they were not the ones involved, and to prove his point, as we will come to learn before the night is over. Sarah Schreiber walked into Shane McMahon's office after this, and she asked about Kevin Owens' opponent for later, to which we were revealed Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, who's the guy, I guess, who's trying to win I Wrestled the Most in 2019 awards, since he seems to be wrestling on every single show I get my eyes on. Even superstars like Samoa Joe's just everywhere. Guy's working everywhere right now. After this Samoa Joe situation with Shane McMahon, we had the Aleister Black promo in the back, sitting in the dark once again, calling out for his next opponent. He is telling everybody all they have to do is knock. Now let me tell you guys something. In my 5 ideas to book Bray Wyatt, I had put Aleister Black as one of the people that should be placed against The Fiend at this moment in time. While there are some reasons why you might not want to do that, tonight kind of makes me feel like that might be the direction where they're heading. Aleister Black is telling somebody all you have to do is knock. You got The Fiend telling everybody, just let me in. I think that that's something that they could definitely play off of. I noticed on Twitter there was a lot of talk and some pictures floating around, and I forget the name of the guy that called it out. I noticed from Just the Buckeye tweeting it out, and I loved this picture. I think they might kind of be reaching, because the WWE is not truly this creative, if you ask me, but it is a definite possibility that the shadows behind Aleister Black, while he was sitting down giving one of the most boring promos of all time, seemingly resembled the face of the mask of The Fiend. Now, it could very well just be light patterns and weird shadows on the wall, or it could very well have been pre-planned and might be a little bit of an Easter egg for you guys to go back and look for if you missed it, as maybe some sort of a foreshadowing moment as to who Aleister Black will be letting in and who will be on the other side of that door that decides to knock. Will it be Bray Wyatt or will it be The Fiend? It'll be interesting if they go that route. But interesting and the WWE don't usually go together. You guys know my ideas are always much better and they never ever come true, which is just a sad reality of everything in the world right now. After this, Roman Reigns defeated Buddy Murphy. We talked about this already. This was an excellent matchup. The only thing wrong with it is that it had to get interrupted by a commercial break. Roman Reigns was throwing Buddy Murphy through announce tables. He was hitting him with Superman punches. Buddy Murphy was hitting Roman Reigns with knee strike after knee strike. Very, very close to actually winning this match on a couple of occasions. Some really, really nice sequences pulled off between the two men. Very intense, very strong fought battle. And in the end, both of these guys came out looking the best I've seen either one of them look. Props to both of them, not just to Roman. This was a fantastic match, my favorite match of the night. Maybe my favorite Roman Reigns match of all time, and maybe one of the best matches we've seen on SmackDown Live all 2019 long. After this, we had Kayla Braxton in the back. She was interviewing The Revival. Why The Revival is on SmackDown Live, I will never know. They seemingly don't give two shits about the tag team division. Last night they're worrying about the 24/7, hey, look at me, I'm a clown wearing an avocado skin gold-plated championship belt, and I don't give a shit about my career, and I'm gonna do stupid things like get involved in these shenanigans when I'm in the middle of a tag team matchup to try to re-establish my dominance as a tag team in the division. And you want me to give a shit now that you don't like what the New Day's doing? Oh, the whole reason the 24/7 title's around is because of the New Day. No, bro. That is not a fact at all. And he doesn't like the way the New Day is representing the tag team division. Well, guess what? None of us like the way the Revival is representing the tag team division, because you'd have to keep your backs off the mat for longer than 3 seconds in more matches for us to give a shit about anything you guys are saying. You're on fucking Raw last night wrestling for the 24/7 championship, abandoning your tag team match to go try to win it back after you lost it, and now you want to take the tag team division seriously and I'm supposed to give a damn about what you say? The only thing I'm going to say to this whole thing is, next. After the break, Kayla Braxton is in the back once again. Now she's with the New Day, and they say they've never ruined the tag team division, but they have ruined other things. I don't care what they were trying to get at. Kofi Kingston then decided to discuss Randy Orton and being so brutal with the kendo stick. He made a valid point. I criticized Kofi Kingston for doing such extreme things to Randy Orton after he really did nothing. Randy Orton didn't do anything but look at the man's family. And I know he's the Viper and all the things that Kofi Kingston said about him tonight as well. But at the end of the day, the guy didn't do anything. Kofi Kingston's trying to make his stand like he was just doing a preemptive strike. Like he was going to hit the Viper before the Viper even had a chance. Because he shouldn't even be looking in that direction. Which is actually the right way to think about it. I just was more upset, I guess, of the double countout, ruining the championship matchup. And it still doesn't so much make sense, but you're going to have to forgive it after what Kofi Kingston says here. He promised to be in Woods and E's corner during their match for the Revival, with the Revival later on tonight. Big deal. Samoa Joe is facing off against Kevin Owens for the first time ever on the main roster. And the WWE didn't decide to tell us about it. The WWE didn't decide to hype it. They decided to do it off the seat of their pants on the fly tonight just because I guess Shane McMahon says so. Kevin Owens had a match. He didn't know who his opponent was going to be. Shane McMahon announced it was Samoa Joe, and now here we are at the match. And of course, right before the matchup, they announced that the special enforcer will be Elias, a guy who Shane McMahon claimed was having the night given off to him. So he shouldn't even be there in the first place. This was obviously a bait and switch by the world's sweatiest general manager, and I just decided to not really care too much. You brought the whole thing down to me, and now I already know this thing is going to end in a schmaz, and it's not going to mean anything, which kind of is a little bit of a relief, just a little bit, because this means that Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens will tangle later on, and it will be taken more seriously, and maybe it will be an actually great match, because what we were getting was a very good matchup between these two big guys until Elias became a factor, actually distracting Kevin Owens, allowing Samoa Joe to take over. Joe was in control, slowed the pace of the match down, and then Kevin Owens caught Joe with an elbow and a second turnbuckle dropkick of the match. He then got a close 2 count after hitting Samoa Joe with a senton. This match went on and on until Elias once again got in the ring and got in Kevin Owens' face. Joe then rolled up Kevin Owens, and Elias made a very, very fast 3 count while he was taking the place of the other referee who was now outside the ring, and Samoa Joe gets a tainted victory over Kevin Owens. Daniel Bryan and Rowan entered the locker room just like Roman Reigns did, cleared everybody out except for Buddy Murphy, and then proceeded to accost him and get very physical with him and ask him to tell the truth and tell everybody that he lied. And this has one of the classic Daniel Bryan lines I have ever heard delivered ever. When he got into Buddy Murphy's face and said, "Tell somebody, Buddy, that you lied," I swear to God, I almost fell off my couch in laughter. Daniel Bryan is a goddamn master, and his performance tonight in that backstage skit was fantastic. They got real physical with Buddy Murphy, making him admit to the fact that he lied. Now we and Roman, and anybody for that matter on the planet, does not know what to truly believe when it comes to Buddy Murphy. Is he telling the truth? Was it actually Rowan? And Daniel Bryan is proving this point just to cover his own tracks and get everybody off the trail? Or is Buddy Murphy lying, and maybe he just made up this story to make Roman Reigns leave him alone? And now we see how that all ended up by the time we get here, and it's just... It's mildly interesting now. It's mildly interesting. I thought they ruined it with the immediate, "Oh, well, Rowan did it, Buddy Murphy said so" thing. And while we were all going just off of the word of one man who most of the people in the WWE universe, the casual verse anyway, doesn't even know, now we can pick up and go forward as Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan supposedly have a key component to the puzzle that they are yet to reveal. They also beat up Buddy Murphy really bad after he admitted to lying as well, throwing him all across the room. Daniel Bryan saying that he hates liars, and Eric Rowan ensuing with the beating. They then show Roman Reigns backstage looking for Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan somewhere. Great. Then the New Day came down to the ring for their matchup. Randy Orton then came out and said that Kofi Kingston can't beat him now. He couldn't beat him 11 years ago. He knows it, and now his family knows it, and everybody in the WWE Universe knows it. Orton said Kingston ran away from a fight in front of your wife, in front of your 2 sons. He said when they grow up, they are going to ask him, why did you run away from that big, bad, scary Viper Man, Daddy? And then he said Kofi Kingston will have to look them in the eye and tell them because he knew that he couldn't beat Randy Orton. Some pretty compelling stuff coming out of the mouth of the Apex Predator, which is something that you expect, and I thought this was a great moment. I didn't know what this was going to have to do with what we were about to see until all of a sudden it all started to become clear, and we were going to turn what was going to be the Revival versus the New Day for no reason into a 6-man tag team matchup, which is my favorite way to go off the air on any show, right? That's how we should just main event every single show with a 6-man tag, 2 out of 3 falls, elimination extravaganza to blow off every single show of the week. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT, every pay-per-view. That's it, right? That's it, because that's all they ever want to freaking do. This was 2 separate segments mashed into one due to time constraints and the fact that they only have 2 hours to get everything in. You could have spent more time doing this and less time doing some of the Shane McMahon shit. Maybe we could have got 2 separate good segments, but this match is what it is. It was just another 6-man tag team matchup. At the end, we would see the Revival hit the Shatter Machine on Xavier Woods and get the pin for their team. The pinfall did not happen thanks to Randy Orton, the most accomplished man in the ring. It came from the Revival, a team that has been more up and down than the Big Show has turned good and bad. It's unbelievable. These guys were last night clowning around on Monday Night Raw. Tonight they're beating the tag team champions of SmackDown Live. And they already dropped hints throughout this matchup. Oh, what would happen if the Revival beat the New Day here tonight? They'll obviously be in line for a shut up, Tom Phillips. Shut up, because now you said it and you willed it into reality, and now it's going to happen because the Revival pinned the New Day to win this matchup. The best part of the matchup happened after the match. The Revival attacked Woods and E until Kofi Kingston would come in and made the save. He would then hit the Trouble in Paradise on both members of the Revival, but Randy Orton would hit the RKO out of nowhere. Fans were chanting for one more time, which I thought was a little bit brutal. Maybe they were a little bit punch drunk from 4 nights of fucking wrestling in Toronto, Canada. But Randy Orton would oblige by doing not just one more, but many more. The fans chanted and chanted, and the Revival would pick up Big E, and Randy Orton would hit him with the RKO. He would then repeat his attack again on Kofi Kingston, hitting him with another RKO, leading us to a backstage segment again where we see Roman Reigns. And we are coming back to this storyline once again because we're going to wrap it up in the most awkward way possible. Roman Reigns bumps into Daniel Bryan and Rowan in the locker room. Daniel Bryan is demanding an apology. He said, "You apologized to Samoa Joe last week. You should apologize to Rowan and myself this week." Buddy Murphy said he was a liar. "You are wrong. Be a man and apologize." Roman Reigns failed to do so. Daniel Bryan then revealed, before Roman Reigns looked like he was about to start throwing punches, but Bryan calmed him down quickly and revealed that they are conducting and have been conducting their own investigation, and next week they are going to bring the culprit to Roman Reigns on SmackDown Live. And I don't know whether to believe this or not, because Daniel Bryan has promised some earth-shattering announcement that has nothing to do with Roman Reigns' attacker, because he was supposed to announce this like 4 weeks ago. This Roman Reigns attack thing only happened right before SummerSlam. So it should have not, the two things are not related. But Daniel Bryan's promise to bring us the culprit next week doesn't hold much water to me when I'm still waiting for him to tell us this career-altering announcement, which they made absolutely zero mention of. So that's a big thing I'm putting a sin on for them doing wrong. And I just don't understand how stupid you could make people look sometimes. I know this is TV, they're trying to leave you with a cliffhanger, but Roman Reigns is standing right there in front of Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, and Daniel Bryan gives him this ultimatum, and he's like, listen, don't hurt me now, and next week I'm going to bring you the guy that almost murdered you twice. And then Roman's standing there like, okay, I'll wait. I'll wait for 7 days. I'm going to wait. I'm going to be cool now. I'm not going to be crazy Roman who wants to find out who fucking murdered me. I'm going to be cool. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to chill. I'm going to go home, I'm going to chill. I'm going to show up on Raw Monday, most likely. But I'm going to relax now. I'm glad somebody knows. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Somebody tells me that, unless they have my wife and daughter, like, in a room, tied up, and like, in a really precarious position where I might really lose them or something of that nature, I am going to kill these two. You understand what I'm saying? Roman Reigns had nothing to lose. Daniel Bryan knows who did it. He thought Buddy Murphy knew who did it, and he beat the snot out of him until he got Buddy Murphy to tell him. I know he's got the numbers taking the advantage away from him, but at least try, right? Like, no way, man, I'm not waiting 7 days. If you know, you tell me now, or I am going to beat the shit out of you. And then you have him say, oh, well, you'll have to get past Rowan first, and then have him beat the shit out of Rowan and go off the air with them brawling in the back. Not just Roman standing there like, yeah, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to go home and I'm going to wait. I'm going to have me some Samoan barbecue. I'm going to throw a pineapple on the grill and crack a coconut open. What is wrong with these people? That is your review of tonight's episode of SmackDown Live. The creative is fucking garbage as usual, but we did get one really good matchup out of tonight. We got to see the best Roman Reigns has ever had to offer. We got to see Buddy Murphy put in a great position. They did talk very little about the return of the King of the Ring. They didn't give us any further information on it. They didn't enlighten us on the 16 competitors that are going to be in this thing, like I told you guys on the Monday Night Raw review show. I told you guys hours after they made the announcement. You would think 24 hours later on SmackDown Live, they'd at least be like, okay, well, we told you we were going to have the tournament last night. Tonight, we're going to tell you who's in the tournament. And we got boom, 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 boom. And then everybody can get happy and get excited and pick your favorites, and we can all speculate. But unless you're checking them out on WWE.com, or you're listening to guys like me, or you're checking it out for yourself, you have no idea who's in the King of the Ring yet, do you? Well, go find out, because it's a pretty decent lot, with the exception of a few very obvious names that none of us want or need to be the next King of the Ring, but that's going to be a story for another day, and that day is apparently going to be next Monday. So you deflated me by putting it on a Monday Night Raw, but I guess I can't help but be excited for the coming of a King of the Ring, and the only thing that matters now is what they do with it. We have seen some really, really small baby steps over the course of the last couple of shows that maybe want to make you have hope again. I know it's hard for any of us to have hope, and we watch this show in a land of hopelessness, but when you see what they're doing with Cedric and Drew, and you see the match we got tonight with a guy like Roman of all people and Buddy Murphy, and you see that they're starting to try to tell this story of who murdered Roman Reigns, and we have the rise of The Fiend, and we have the return of Sasha Banks, and the return of King of the Ring. You could see that they're trying something, and it is all a direct result of everything that is going on in the world of wrestling around them. They're only bringing back the tournament because AEW is kicking off their show with the Tag Team Championship tournament, and because we got the G1 and the Super J Cup going on, and the WWE does not want to be on the back burner. They have felt like they have been in the front for so long, and now they are clearly not the front runner. They have guys neck and neck with them, and they're going to do what everybody else is doing, and they're going to claim to do it better. But if we're going to get 2 and 3 minute King of the Ring matches, they're going to fail with this year's King of the Ring. Hopefully they take it as seriously as we do, and they do the right thing and give it to a decent person, and they let that person run with it and actually make it mean something to be the King of the Ring again. That's what we have to look forward to next week. I hope to see each and every one of you here. One of the best ways you can make sure you don't miss it is to be a subscriber of this channel and join the over 1,800 plus that know that when you want your wrestling news and reviews full of no bullshit, coming at you clean and straight, full of honesty, and with a whole lot of fun and jokes and doing things in a fun and lighthearted manner while being as serious as a heart attack, this is the place for you to be. Make sure you smash that like button if you enjoyed today's show. Ring the notification bell so that you don't miss a thing, and then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they enjoyed the hell out of that Roman Reigns match, because they will never believe that this guy is actually putting over Roman Reigns on the SmackDown Live Summerslam Fallout show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our 3rd anniversary's conclusion as well. Kevin Owens is celebrating 5 years as part of this WWE roster in the very same week that we are celebrating our anniversary. That's something I didn't know before. But we're celebrating 3 years here on YouTube, and I want to thank each and every one of you that have been here with me throughout this weekend. We've been putting out videos rapid fire, and you guys have been there watching and supporting us with each and every one. The best way you guys can support the channel is, of course, by subscribing, liking, and sharing this video everywhere you possibly can, and bringing us new eyes to the channel as well. You can get your t-shirts. The t-shirts are only going to be available for another 3 days. By the time you guys see this video, there will only be 3 days remaining. 3 days left for you to get this t-shirt right here, the exclusive 3-year anniversary of Sledgehammer TV. Once that timer ticks down to 0, this CM Punk inspired best podcast in the world t-shirt is going off the market for good, and I don't want to be the only one to have one. So make sure that you guys get yours before they are gone for good. And you can get those in the link in the description box down below. I will also pin it in the comment board tonight at the top of the comments page, as I have been doing lately with all the videos. Some of you guys have noticed. And I will also run the ad on the outro one final time. Just make sure if you want to get one, you click that link, and you've only got 72 precious hours left. Get yours today while the getting's good. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team. Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you guys. I am absolutely wiped out. Between my regular job and my YouTube gig here, I don't think I have an ounce of energy left. If I last another hour, I will be lucky. But once again, I love each and every one of you. Thank you all for your continued support of the channel. Let's get this channel over 2,000 subscribers before we hit the month of September, and then let's shoot for the moon, 5, 10K, and beyond, because Sledgehammer TV ain't going anywhere, especially with the Sledgehead Army and people just like you. Don't forget to watch everything else we have on the channel. The SummerSlam review, everything wrong with SummerSlam, everything wrong with Monday Night Raw, the 5 crazy ways you can book Bray Wyatt, and so much more, plus the Hammer and Hollywood movie reviews right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time, hopefully not for a couple of days, right here on your new favorite wrestling show, which is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on youtube.com. I love you guys. Get your t-shirts. Here's to our 4th year and beyond.
T-shirt time.
You gotta be wearing the official t-shirt.
T-shirt time.
Do it. Do it.